Alright, here's my husband's reaction.
Smells good.
It does. Smells really nice. Nice and healthy. Anyway, I'm going to can it because that's what I do. I don't like it just sitting in a bucket. I'll put it into quart jars. No, pint wide mouth jars. And there's my last 2 packets that I haven't used, which I've had for years. And I'm going to set up my canners. I think I can do 8 or 9 in each canner. Water bath. I'm a new stove top, but it would have been better if that big burner there had been put over here. The design on the stove top here is not ideal, but it'll work. Anyway, I shall get set up. Whatever you do, don't throw out the plastic covers, wrapping from your boxes, from your ball jar boxes. These are old because they've still got the dividers in them. They don't even come like that anymore. And make sure you keep them because it's so much easier to store your jars in the boxes. And I've kept a lot of mine. That one's still closed up, but I'll be keeping the plastic around that one as well. Rightio. Ooh. Pop. Okay, water's in the water baths, and I'm going to do this cold. I've never done it like this before, but I'm going to put the sauerkraut into the jars cold and do it for 20 minutes, which means you don't have to sterilise the jars. Just going to make sure that they've been washed and clear of anything inside them. And here's a jar grabber 2, which I use. I like this big black one because it's got a spring and much easier to use. And this one, you'd be surprised how many people put it on the wrong way. It's a bit hard with one hand, but that's how you put it on, not the other way around. You're just asking for an accident to happen. And this is very handy to put the food in the jars. I like this thing. And then I have my jar tightener. There you go. Because I'm very heavy-handed, and when I tighten jars I do them too tight. And I will link a video onto this video along with how I make the sauerkraut on another link as to how to use this jar tightener. You're supposed to, when you tighten them, they say finger tight, which is twist your fingers when tightening, not your fingers and your wrist. Anyway, I still haven't learnt that properly, so I use my jar grabber. My jar tightener, not my jar grabber. Rightio, excuse the mess, but I'm going to fill my jars. Okay, I put a little bit of vinegar in the bottom of each jar, probably a tablespoon or so, because we like that flavour. It doesn't do a whole lot else except add that vinegary flavour, because the salt is what does the job. And these that you can see is my banana water. So I've got to empty them. They've been in there for a while. And I think I should get on with it. Right. It's very hard doing things with one hand. Okay, I shall start. I forgot to mention that I put the lids into hot water to soften up the rubber. They say you don't have to, but I still do it, and many other people do as well. So just don't boil them. You can put them into hot water and let them sit. Okay, sauerkraut's in 12 jars. I think I'll probably get almost 24 going by how much went into these. And stupid me should not have put the vinegar in first, because as I'm putting the sauerkraut in the jars, it all came out. So I removed the vinegar and then added it afterwards. That's a better idea. Okay. Now we need to wipe the rims and make sure there's nothing stuck on there, because your jars probably won't seal if there's a bit of sauerkraut between the lid and the glass. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll put the rings on, and then I'll use my jar tightener, and then I will put them in the pot and start the process. Been a while since I've done this, and I forgot to debubble, so I'm now debubbling the jars. So you shove something down the side of them, plastic or chopsticks or anything that you can get between the glass and the food, and you push it towards the middle, and it should push the air bubbles out. So I'm doing that now. So 8 jars fit into the canner. These are the wide mouth pint jars, and I've got 4 over here, so I can do another 4, and then we shall see how much is left to can. I did use the finger tight method, but then I checked it with my jar tightener, and I hadn't done it tight enough. So it's always good to have your little jar tightener handy. Excuse the dogs. Okay, I've got 8 jars in there, another 8 in here, and 2 in there in my steam canner. So steam canner is always handy to have, just to do the few extra jars you might have. Just remember, if you have cold contents, you have cold jars and cold water, which I have in this case. If you have hot contents, hot food, then you have hot water and hot jars. So that's always important, otherwise you're going to have a whole heap of broken jars because they can't handle the temperature change. Well, this one's starting to come to a little bit of a boil, so I'll show you what a rolling boil is after. They talk about that a lot on the old YouTube videos. So at the moment it's just bubbling gently, and it won't be long before we have that rolling boil. So I've got a little bit left that I'm going to have for lunch. I've got some mashed potatoes left from last night, so I'm going to fry them up and fry some eggs and heat up my sauerkraut. That's lunch. So there we go. Probably could have squashed this into another jar, but I wanted to have some for lunch. Rightio. There's a bit of steam coming out of the steam canner. So I'm just going to wait till that becomes really steady, and then we time it for 20 minutes. This one's nowhere near because it's on a smaller burner, so it takes a bit longer to boil. And this one is starting to get close. Okay, that's what we want. We want a steady flow of steam, and this one will get turned off at 3:05, which is 20 minutes. Okay, because this is a new stove and I've never done it on here before, I would guess that's as close to a rolling boil as I'm going to get. So 20 minutes for this pot, and it should be done. Well, the 2 in the steam canner are out. Once they're processed, you turn the steam canner off and leave them in there for a few minutes. And when it all settles down, you can take them out. So 2 more pots to go. Just turned this pot off, so I'll just let it all settle down. When all the bubbles stop, about 5 minutes, I'll take this lot out. Just waiting for this pot because it's on a smaller burner, but it's starting to boil away. And that's lunch. So that with the sauerkraut is going to be delicious. I have my silicone gloves that my son bought me probably 6 years ago, and they are really very good. So they just hang on the oven, a bit grotty there, they do a good job. Okay, I moved the last pot to the bigger burner because it would just take forever otherwise. And when you're taking out your jars, move slowly. Lunch is cooking nicely. You'll find water sitting on top. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it's drained away. Oh, there's one. So don't tip the jars to the side trying to get the water off, because it can upset the seal. So don't do that. I've been good. I didn't do that. Oh, it's lunchtime and the last pot is doing its thing. I have to turn it down a bit, I think. Okay. Not sure how many jars there are. I think there were 16. 16? No, 18, because I had 8 in each pot and 2 in the steam canner. When you fill the jars, I don't know if I mentioned it, push the sauerkraut down as tightly as you can, because otherwise you're just going to end up with a jar full of liquid and a few bits of cabbage in it. So push it down really hard, and excuse my mess, that's the last canner cooling off. And I shall wipe it out and stick it back into my pantry room for next time. Okay, I think I've got it pretty well covered. I'll try to add some links from other videos to this video, if I can manage to do it on the video thing. The video, I don't know what you call it, video something. Anyway, I'm going to sit down and have a glass of wine now. I've had a nice lunch and now I'm just going to enjoy a glass of wine. I can hear them popping. They're very quiet, but some of them are sucked down already. Yeah, popping quietly. They're trying to trick me. Anyway, I'm sure they'll all be okay. Okay, see you later.